listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. We had nice weather today. A little windy, but it was nice. And I am being carefully monitored and supervised.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yep, Myra's here, Susie's here, everybody's here and keeping an eye on me. And I can't get away with much when that happens. So I have to kind of stick to what I'm going to look at. If you haven't been to GiveGod90.com lately, you want to check that out. AuthorJerryMitchell.com is another place you want to check out. If you want to see the book reviews, go to the books tab that's on there and scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's some pretty good reviews on there. I was impressed. Folks that have left reviews, they're on there, and you can see that there. They're kind of interesting. Didn't know that, I could write something that people would say something nice about, I guess. I don't know. That's just me. But that's all there. If you like what you hear tonight, those share buttons and like buttons, all those things work really, really well. Helps us make it easier for people. When you use those buttons, it helps people find us a little easier, boosts us up in the analytics and all that kind of stuff. So check that out. We're going to look at something tonight that, well, I guess why your faith is a personal choice. And you'll see what I mean, I hope, as I go through this. Nobody else is able to make you choose to believe the God of Abraham or even reject the God of Abraham, because that is your choice. And it is something you decide, and you base those decisions, hopefully based on accurate information. If you made those choices based on inaccurate information, it's always possible to go back and look at it and say, maybe I need to rethink this, right? Now, I've spoken in some detail about why believers need to offer the most accurate information possible. Sadly, a lot of people don't. Far too many Christians especially attempt to persuade unbelievers by offering their traditions, their church doctrine, as a reason for people to believe, right? But the world we live in today, that doesn't always work, because we have access to real information. And most people, not everybody, but most people want as much information as they can get in as little time as possible. Now, if you don't believe me, just watch the news, right? That if there's a subject they're talking about, if it lasts for more than a few seconds, they're going to lose their audience, because people want as much information as they can get in as short a span of time as possible. So they're going to give you just the minimum. They're going to glance over the news to tell you what's going on. And I'm going to say that there's always been some personal bias in the news as well, because the editors, well, they're going to write the stories that lean towards the way they think. Now, it's no secret, I hope it's no secret, that the liberal media outlets are going to give you a completely different account of the same news story that the conservatives are going to give you, right? It's just the way life is. And I'm going to say this. believers need to avoid this when they're talking about their faith. We should be ready and willing to give an answer for the trust we have in our Creator, as I think it's 1 Peter 3:15, right? Always be willing to give an account for the hope that you have. And that answer is going to be different from each of us. And the reason is each of us comes to our faith differently. But we need to remember to stick to the facts. Don't interject our own personal agenda until after you are able to interact and have a real personal conversation with someone. And I'll use this example. If you're speaking to a man, you're going to talk about that. You should be talking about the things that are going to pertain to a man rather than a woman. Hopefully you're going to lean towards the Bible says this, and you're going to look at the things it says about men if you're talking to a man. Most men don't really want to hear Proverbs 31 unless they're kind of questioning, because Proverbs 31 deals primarily with women and their role in society. Now, the things that make our relationship with the Creator personal, we each have our own story. How did you come to believe or not to believe? Those are the things that you have to decide for yourself. Each and every person has a story why they chose to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or why they chose to reject him, right? Each and every one of us has our own personal story, testimony, whatever you want to call it. So let's take a look at Abraham himself, if you want to read that passage.
Then the Lord said to Abram, "Leave your country, your relatives, and your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you. I will place a curse on those who harm you, and all the people on the earth will be blessed through you." So Abram left Haran, as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. At this time, Abram was 75 years old. Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 4.
There is a very important reason we are not told why Abraham left the place he was familiar with. It was his comfort zone. It's where he grew up. And he left there to go somewhere that was unfamiliar, unknown. Now, if we were told the reason, then we would be inclined to think that, we should have the same reason. We should have the same thought. We should have the same notion. But we are not Abraham, are we? Don't know why Lot chose to go with him? For the same reason. Now, I'm going to guess, and this is pure speculation, Abraham was probably content where he lived. And most likely so was Lot. But there was something that they heard, something that they seen, something in their hearts, something in their souls, something in their innermost being that made them pack up, pick up, and move. Don't know what it was. Not sure. Could it be what they heard? Could it be what they seen? Could it be what they know? We don't know. And that's okay, because it's going to be different for each of us. I've heard it argued that it was the voice of the Creator himself that demanded Abraham to leave. Abraham could have said no. Abraham could have said, I'm happy where I'm at, but he didn't. He said, okay, I'm out of here. Now, it's not recorded that Lot heard the Creator speak. And what made Lot choose to go with Abraham? Don't know. Was it something Abraham said? We don't know. Abraham could have said, I'm going over there. I'm going across the river. Lot looked across the river and said, that looks like a good place to go. We don't know. Because how we come to our faith is as individual as each one of us. If we go all the way back to Noah, Noah was told, build an ark. That was a huge undertaking, right? And we know God spoke to Noah. Noah could have said, no. I'm too old for this. I'm not the one. Don't pick me. Pick one of my sons. Pick somebody over there. But that didn't happen. Something that Noah heard, something that he understood in his soul, in his spirit, in his heart, however you want to explain it, said, I need to trust this God. Think about when you made the decision to either trust the Almighty or to reject him. And yes, I'm including the people who reject him, because I know there are people who proclaim to be atheists who listen to this from time to time. And if you're one of those folks, it was your personal choice based on the information you had at the time. Right? Well, if that information changes, maybe your decision needs to change. What was it in your innermost being that had you make the choice that you made? It's going to be different for each of us. Now, I can't speak for Myra, and I won't. I know better. 33 years of marriage has told me, don't put words in her mouth, right?
Right.
But I do know that having a father who was a preacher and a missionary, she was raised in the church, believing was sort of imprinted on her. But at any point in time, she could have said, you know what, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But as far as I know, she hasn't done that. They can't hear you shake your head now.
No, I haven't done that.
I know people who proclaim to be unbelievers who have children that are very devout believers. Now that had to be a tough choice for them. It's got to be a tough choice when you say, you know what, Mom and Dad, I know you're atheist. That's fine. But for me, I see some virtue. I see some reality. I see some truth in this God of Abraham. That's a tough choice. When you have to disagree with your parents and they look at you like, didn't we raise you better? Think about that. That's hard for them. It's hard for them. Something led them to choose the Creator. I know people, I think we both know people who claimed that they trusted God until something happened, and all of a sudden they went, God can't do this. He wouldn't do this to me. There can't be. It just can't be. Right? Maybe you know somebody like that. They were strong in their faith until something happened that changed their mind. Now, the reason that changed is a lesson for another time, and maybe we'll look at that in the near future. But for now, it's about a personal choice. You either choose to believe or you choose not to believe. The choices we make need to be personal, and they need to come to each of us who come to faith or come to lack of faith, if you want to say it that way, because we see or hear something that convinces us to think one way or the other. Now, typically, and I'm painting with a very broad brush here, typically, we tend to trust the people we know the best for the information that we rely on, don't we? If you all of a sudden came into a lot of money, who do you trust to say where you should probably invest some of that money? Hopefully you're going to find a good investment counselor. And when I say a good, I mean a good investment counselor. Hopefully you're not going to listen to some fella off the news or somebody who, well, Fred, he came into some money and he put it here and he made a little, and that's not how you invest money. You want to invest money wisely. And you want to invest your faith wisely as well. I use the example all the time about when you were young, sitting on grandma's knee or grandpa's knee, hearing these Bible stories. Maybe it was mom or dad. Maybe it was a pastor. Maybe it was a rabbi. But somebody you trusted said something, and it caused you to form an opinion. No one else could form that opinion for you. It was something you had to do on your own accord, whether you came to believe in the God of Abraham or whether you scratched your head a little bit and said, that's not for me. Either way, you had to make a choice. Now, in this next passage, you're going to hear something, and I'm going to look at it from a different point of view. Go ahead.
From that time, Jesus began to preach, saying, "Change your hearts and lives, because the kingdom of heaven is coming soon." Jesus was walking by Lake Galilee. He saw two brothers, Simon, called Peter, and Simon's brother Andrew. The brothers were fishermen, and they were fishing in the lake with a net. Jesus said, "Come follow me. I will make you fishers of men." At once, Simon and Andrew left their nets and followed him. Jesus continued walking by the Lake Galilee. He saw two brothers, James and John, the sons of Zebedee. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, preparing their nets to catch fish. Jesus told them to come with him. At once they left the boat and their father, and they followed Jesus. That's Matthew chapter 4, verse 17 through 22.
Now, what was it that caused Peter, Andrew, James, and John to walk away from their work? What was it that caused James and John to walk away from Zebedee, their father? Why didn't he go? Was it the way that Yeshua Jesus spoke to them? I kind of doubt it. We read things in the Bible as if they happen all at the same time, right? But when Yeshua Jesus was beginning to teach, he was teaching something that hadn't been heard a lot. Basically, he was saying, get ready because the kingdom is coming. The kingdom of God's coming. Now, chances are very great that these people had heard about this. They probably knew about John the Baptist. They'd probably heard some rumors about this Yeshua, Jesus person. They might have been thinking, well, maybe God is getting ready to do something. And that could have been on their minds. But when he said, I'll make you fishers of men, chances are great that they knew what he was saying. Jeremiah 16, 15, and 16. Right? Instead, they will say, as surely as the Lord lives, who brought the Israelites up out of the land of the north and all the lands to which he has banished them, I will return them to their land, and I will give it to their forefathers. But for now, I will send fishermen, declares Jehovah. and they will catch them. After that, I will send many hunters. They will hunt them down on every mountain and hill, even from the clefts in the rocks. This was a familiar passage. They'd been thinking about this. They knew what this meant. I'll make you fishers of men. We're going to go find the lost people, and we're going to bring them back? Now, I don't know what they were thinking, of course. It could have been something, along the line, somebody told me something like that, and I had that verse in their mind. I'd be going, I got to see this. I got to see. I want to see what's going to happen. I want to know. It's kind of like, when you're watching a TV show and it's to be continued. Well, you got to watch the next episode, right, to see what happens. They're looking for the next episode. Maybe. I don't know what was in their minds. I'm just guessing. But they left because it was personal to them, and it's personal to you as well. We work out our faith in fear and trembling, just like everything else. Your choices are your choices. No one else can make your choices for you. But I will caution you this. When you choose, be sure the choice you make is based on the most accurate information you have the ability to receive. It doesn't matter whether it's about your faith, about your finances, about your friends. When you make choices, you want to make your choices on the most accurate information you have the ability to receive. Just because I say something or because somebody you trust says something, that's not a good enough reason. But I'm going to say this. If you hear the same thing from several different witnesses, and then you pick up the Bible and you read the same thing, that's a pretty good reason to form an opinion in that direction, isn't it? You're basing an opinion, you're basing, your choice on the most accurate information you will ever be given. If you do that, your faith is personal. Your faith is between you and your Creator. It's that simple. The reason you made the choices you did are for you to work out, regardless of what anyone else has to say about it. And I don't want to say, this is going to sound crass, okay? I don't want to say, if you choose to reject the Creator, I don't care. That's not what I mean. It's your choice. It's up to you. If you choose to accept what the Almighty has to say, good for you. If you reject it, maybe you need some more information. Maybe you need more accurate information. Maybe you're forming an opinion based on something that is not exactly accurate. Maybe you're forming an opinion based on tradition, based on a lack of information, based on improper church doctrine. That's why it's so important that believers present the Almighty in an accurate way. Your faith is personal. It's between you and the Almighty. No matter what somebody else says about it, it's for you to work out in fear and trembling in the presence of your Creator. It's that simple. Nobody can tell you why you should believe. Nobody can tell you why you should accept the Almighty. You have to choose for yourself. It's up to you. I can give you a whole list of reasons why I think you should, but the reality is, it comes down to what you hear, see, and experience. It's that simple. It's up to you. And I hope you choose wisely. I need to say I'm still working on a good way to move forward when Spreaker stops the option of going live. I know a lot of people enjoy listening to this live. Thought about moving to YouTube. That's an option, kinda, sorta. But a lot of people that listen, they don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that. I thought about doing it anyway, and then stripping the audio out of it and putting that on Spreaker. That's also an option. Have not decided yet. Don't know what we're going to do. Going to have to do something. We've only got a couple of months. Well, we've only got a few weeks. But we got to do something. But whatever it is, we will try to keep you informed and try to make sure that we keep doing what we're doing. Not sure what that's going to look like, but
we're sticking to it, and we're going to do it.
We're going to do it one way or the other. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up, right? But either way, we're going to try to make sure that you have the information you need to keep living the way you're designed to live. That's what we're doing. So with all that in mind, for now, we'll be back on Monday. And we wish you many, many blessings, everyone.
Be blessed all.